All right, we are recording. Welcome to tonight's call. It is June 26th. I'm Cindy Walter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got a lot of people on the call tonight, excited to hear from PK Smith. And I just wanted to share just a quick story on how our team got to know PK. Gina Gillen, one of our awesome leaders, part of our mastermind group for our whole entire team, she was one of the earlier leaders that came with me to Isagenix. And her and PK actually met watching a game at an event. And they met and were talking, and Gina didn't even know who PK was at the time, and they chit-chatted, they made friends, started talking, and then she figured out who he was. And so she hired him right away, and he started doing coaching for her team. And after that, it just kind of spread. We all got the bug. We all wanted to coach with him. So I don't even know, PK, if you know how many groups we've had go through your 5-week coaching, but I know we've had at least 15, I think, groups, haven't we?
You know what? I have no idea how to keep track of all that. No.
Yeah, we've had quite a few.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we've had quite a few. So there's some new people on tonight that may not have heard from you. So what I'd like to do is first, thank you so much for getting on our call tonight. We are so excited to hear from you. You've been a blessing to our team. We've really learned a lot from you, and it's been great for new people, but also for those of us that are seasoned and we're looking for some fresh ideas. I loved a lot of what I learned from you about launch parties. And so I'd like to dig in and get started. I have asked everyone some questions that they might want to have answered by you. And then, of course, I just want your input and your feedback. You just run with the call, and if there's a break in the action, I'll keep asking questions. But where I thought we'd start, PK, is I would like to know your thought on the importance of launch parties. I know you talk about them a lot.
Launch parties are so important. Well, for one, I want to give credit where credit is due. If no one's ever read Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell, it's an older book. It's been out for a minute or two. In fact, I think Mark's gone on to heaven since then. But he has a great book on the fundamentals of network marketing, especially your first year. And in it, he specifically talks about never giving up on the home-based launch party. Because it's such an effective enrolling tool, as well as it shows every guest that you have a zero upstart or overhead business model for them to join. The other reason that I find it important is it breaks down that false belief that somehow you've got to be a public speaker in order to succeed at this business. And that simply is not true. This business is not based on upon being a great public speaker. And the launch party shows people an intimate kind of sharing model instead of a big public presentation with microphones and slideshows and guest speakers and such. And that's an important shift. Why? Because 95, 98% of the population is scared to death of speaking in public. So you don't want to give them a model that most of them can't possibly do. Plus the launch party, especially as we show, embracing the party model gives you so many variations on a theme as to how you could possibly share your product line with other people. And I think that's one of the most important new developments, is realizing that a launch party doesn't have to be a meeting. It can actually be a party that's very experiential, and it isn't a meeting.
Awesome. And I know for those that kind of went through your training, we got to hear about the different launch parties, but would you mind just sharing with everyone your different launch party theme ideas? And then if you have anything special or different you do in the summer with launch parties, that would be helpful too.
Well, the thing that we love about the whole launch party model is the idea that you'd have a taste testing party, and you'd tell people it's a taste testing party, but it's not a meeting. There's no long presentation attached to it. So you can do it in any kind of a party theme where your entire presentation is less than 10 minutes long. It would be a couple of product testimonials, and those product testimonials are always based upon 3 verbs: I felt, I love, and I am. How did I feel before I started loving these amazing superfoods? What one superfood do I love more than any other, and where does it fit into my life, and how has my life changed in one very specific way because of my product transformation? I felt, I love, and I am. Now that's another transition, just to pause there for a second. Learning to talk about Isagenix like it's food, not a drug, not magic, and not a cure. It's food, and use the same emotional connection you make about other foods. Don't turn it into, let me list off all the ingredients and all their side benefits and all that. Talk about Isagenix like it's food. More people will want to try your food and experience what you're experiencing. And this is a major shift for people because we are a little too used to talking like we're all nutritionists instead of just superfood enthusiasts. Be excited about the one food you love. Tell them what flavor do you love it in. Where does that love affair fit into your everyday activities? What does that do for you? That will get more people trying your product than listing off acidophilus and everything else that's in a product that I don't know any of the ingredients of. I have no clue. I know where the stuff goes. I know you can't apply it topically. It doesn't work if you rub it on your skin. You have to eat this stuff. It's food. So we do 2 product testimonials. I felt, I love, I am. One, what we call a silly success story. Now, all a silly success story is a little 1-minute story about how you'd taken some action that week. You're expecting X number of dollars, but it turns out you didn't do your math very good. And the email told you were off by $50 or $100 or even $200. And that little self-deprecating story where you're showing the guest, hey, I don't know how it all works and I still get paid, that starts to break down some of their disbelief that they're able to do this. So 2 product testimonials, a silly success story, and then use our scripting to describe the product line from the top down. If you want to use a visual aid to that, you can have one table where you have the Business Builders Pack. Honestly, if you will put out a display of the Business Builders Pack at your launch parties, more people will start with it because it has so much product in it. And then on the other table, put out a President's Pack, but divide it into the 3 systems that we reference in the scripting: meals, snacks, and mineral and vitamin support. So when they look at that 2 tables, they see all 4 packs. The Business Builders Pack's on one table. The President's Pack has 3 systems. The Pacesetter has 2, and the 30-day has 1. And along with the scripting, it allows them to truly understand what kind of decision about their investing are they actually making. Now, you can do that little presentation in, 6-7 minutes, and then use the rest of your party to have people taste testing the product. That's where you can answer the questions they have about the shakes or the cleanse or the replenish or bars or whatever, but you ask them one-on-one directly to the person. So that 10-minute presentation can fit into lots of scenarios. The favorite I've heard of recently is a launch party pool party. And that's where they hired a lifeguard, had the moms come over with their kiddies. They swam a little bit. The moms went off to a part of the backyard where they could do some taste testing. They enrolled, came back and played with their kids at the pool and went home, all at a simple pool party setting. So the launch party that's a real party gives you lots of different options, especially in the summertime.
That's a great idea. I love that one. Okay, one question that we get a lot, PK, is how can we encourage enrollments the very night of the party? I tend to get a lot of enrollments the nights of my parties, but some people struggle with that. Can you share your techniques around that?
Well, the first thing is time. If you don't leave them time to enroll, they go home. So our longest launch parties presentation is 35 minutes long. Because if they look at their watch and say, look, I've got time to taste test the product and enroll before the top of the hour, you will actually increase your on-site enrollments by 400%. Just by stopping talking and leave time for them to enroll during the party. More people enroll. Now, the other 2 things that we do is, one, we give people options for how they can enroll. Don't just give a singular way to enroll. Offer them enrollment forms, offer them laptops to do live enrollments, and then offer them customer service phone calls to Isagenix to give their private information directly to Isagenix. If you give people multiple options for how they can enroll, more people will choose, in fact, to enroll. And then the last one, and we just put a video up of this on our YouTube channel this week, your first 3 are free on me, and that's just where you prepare 3 gift bags that have your first 3 days of product experience in them. 6 shakes, 3 Ionics, a couple of bars, a couple of Isolites, and you tell people for the first 3 people who join tonight, you don't have to wait to start your product experience tomorrow. You, in fact, can begin your product experience. Sorry, you can start it tomorrow. You don't have to wait the 3 to 5 days for shipping. And because people don't like delayed gratification, they will enroll faster so they don't have to wait.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, another question we get a lot, and one of your launch parties kind of is a solution for this, is how to build consultants. So a lot of the team that is on this call tonight and that will be watching the recording is participating in what we have going on, a summer blitz. And it's very similar to a 90-day game plan, PK, and they're really wanting to enroll people and create consultants. So I love your executive launch party theme. Maybe you could share a little bit about that and any other tips you have on creating consultants.
Well, the pre-launch launch party is really made for this, and this just happened to a couple of my mentees. They were enrolling a start member, and she said, I really want to get started with that President's Pack. And I've got the room on my credit card and all, but I just don't want to carry the balance. And they said, okay, then don't enroll right now. Instead, what we'd like you to do is to throw a party and just tell your friends that you're going to enroll the next day after the party and that we're coming over to do a taste testing for you and any of your friends to see if they might want to join you in your superfood experience. So she did it. She put 6 people in her little apartment, and the leaders came over, did a little 10-minute presentation. They did a taste testing for all of her friends, and as a result, 2 of her friends decided to join with President's Packs. Now, they sent the guests home. They looked at the enrollment forms with the host and said, you've got 2 friends joining with President's Packs. With all of your bonuses, you'd get $420 back. That means you'd only be paying $139 for a President's Pack. Does that give you enough confidence to go ahead and join with a President's Pack yourself? And she said, sure. So she joined with a President's Pack, and then they showed her how to take the information off the enrollment form and enroll her 2 friends so that she instantly became a consultant without any effort, just throwing a party the day before she enrolled instead of the day after or the week after or the month after. Now, one of her 4 guests who didn't enroll the night of the party, they had approached the leaders and asked for the same deal. So she put 9 people in her living room, and 3 of them enrolled with packs. So her pack was free. And the gal who hosted the first party, she ended up going straight halfway to Crystal Manager, only having thrown a party. She hadn't done anything. She was halfway to Crystal Manager in her first week.
Wow, that's great. Well, we have the Crystal Executive Reset deadline is fast approaching. Can you share a little bit about then taking it even a step further to the executive party for those that are really trying to get to executive and only have a couple of weeks left?
Well, there isn't a time for an executive launch party. That takes a month's work to pull one of those off. What I would recommend for everyone is to offer a platinum consultant bonus. Approach every single one of your associates and everyone that you enroll over the next 2 weeks and offer to give them your entire $100 that Isagenix gives you for making the consultant. So they will get their double PIBs plus 50 from Isagenix and 100 from you. And that often is enough for people to say, yeah, I'm ready to go. I've had one mentee actually make eight Crystal consultants in 8 days just because he offered the full $100 instead of just the $50 we normally do with a Crystal consultant bonus.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it's $1,000, you know, that you're working towards here. So if you share with everybody that you're enrolling, you know, I have a very specific business goal in mind, but in order to reach it, I need to help X number of people get their products paid for before July the 13th. Would you let me help you be one of the folks that I get your products for free? And then show them the actual math of what they would get. Double PIBs plus 50 from Isagenix, 100 from you, it makes most people's product experience free.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, how about other than launch parties? What other suggestions do you have? You know, during the summer months, people often use the excuse it's harder to build in the summer. We just had, you know, lots of promotions last week, so people are still buying products. People are still getting on the program in the summertime. So, any suggestions other than launch parties to help people with enrollments and creating consultants over the summer?
Well, one of the first things you have to realize is that the downtime in the summer isn't really people's responses. It's mostly our effort.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the summer comes and it's more challenging, people believe, to build, so they stop building. We recommend that everybody aim for 5 hours a week of enrolling conversations every single week. Come rain or shine, no matter the season, every week, put 5 hours of work into your enrolling conversations. Now, one of the first things that needs to be improved, probably by everybody on this call, is there aren't enough people looking at your information. You're waiting for 3 or 4 people to get back to you. You should be waiting for 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 people to get back to you. You haven't put your information in front of enough people. So you need to get more lines in the water. I would recommend picking, whether it's the new international AMPed video, that new animated AMP video, or a favorite IsaBody champion video that you love, and get it in front of some folks and simply leave them a voice message over Facebook Messenger. You know, when I saw this video, I immediately thought of you. Would you take a look at this and get back to me if this is of interest to you? And then just share the video with them. But don't put that in front of 3 people. Put that in front of 100 people.
So,
do you folks have some favorite product videos you guys like to share?
You actually got us all excited. I was always showing the Isagenix difference, but when the Canadian version came out, you were talking about it on one of our calls, and that has become my favorite.
Isn't that a wonderful video?
Yeah, I love that video.
And it does product and opportunity, because Chad and Aaron talk about how they wish they would have had this when they were competing as athletes, and then at the end they show that they're sharing with the kiddies that they're now coaching, now as coaches. Plus, Dr. Rick Lee gives a great example of why the product is such a no-compromise product. And then you've got all those great the business examples that are so fantastic.
Yeah. Can you share again, because I know I see people writing frantically here, what verbiage would you use sending people the video? So you said, you know, I saw this video and I thought of you. Then is there a call to action? Like, what, after you send the video, what are you saying?
When I saw this, I thought of you. If any of this interests you, please contact me. I'd love to share more with you about what these superfoods are doing with families around the world. And just so that there's, here, watch this, but get back in touch with me. If any of this interests you, get back in touch with me. You know, we do a 3-day live training, and we spread out the information over 3 days and get people into action. And one of the things we do is we actually get them to leave as many of these voice memo and video messages to as many people as they can. And, you know, in an hour, we've seen people do 40 of these and have appointments set up because of them. And they happen at the event. I just don't think there's enough information out there. I think too many people, they're waiting for 5 or 6 people to say yes instead of 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 people to say yes. You need more lines in the water. Now, what I recommend you do is watch 2 or 3 videos, but do so with a pen and paper in your hand. And while you're watching it, think, who do I know that needs to see this? And the whole time that video is playing, just write feverishly all the names you can think of. Now, don't edit. Don't only send it to people who you absolutely know for sure want to see this. Anyone who might be of interest to this, period. Write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. And then go back and leave that personalized voice memo to them, and then cut and paste the address from the URL down into that Facebook Messenger chat so the video pops up right in their phone.
That's great. We'll have to do that. That's something I can see. Yes.
It's Ann. I'm sorry to interrupt. PK, if you can't do this via Facebook, do you recommend doing this another way? Like a text or an email, like an email video or anything like that? Thank you.
Well, I would do text. Email is almost dead as a communication form. Email is not a very effective communication form these days. I would embrace some kind of social media. You can leave voice memo over text. Notice the other reason I don't like emails is that you're texting. I don't want you to send letters to people. I want them to hear your voice. And so when you hide behind letters, that you actually remove all of the emotional connection with you. So that's why I'm not saying text this over to someone. I'm saying hit the microphone button on your phone and send that over to them via voice memo, which you can do via text as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. And someone else, we've got a live chat going here too. Someone else messaged when we were talking about creating consultants, and we talked about, you shared the Platinum Associate bonus of giving the entire $100 bonus. What about those people who have already created 20 consultants? What would we offer after that if there's no longer that bonus involved? Or do you stop at that point?
Yeah, I kind of stop at that point. I mean, because then you're kind of trying to actually kind of buy your Crystal Executive status. You know, we offered that Platinum bonus because it's really no money out of your pocket, and it's a wash. You know, you bring the money in, you send it back out. But if you hit that 10 active consultants by July 13th, they'll give you an extra $1,000. So there's actually a profit to it.
Right. Okay. Awesome. All right, PK, I know we're going to be opening it up for some questions here from everyone at the end, but what else can you share with our group, you know, from your heart? We've got so many people that really want this to work for them, and some it's really working for, and others are a little discouraged. And so, you know, what can you say to those of us on the call today to encourage them to, you know, go for this crystal reset, to, you know, work this summer to set themselves up for a great fall season? You know, what words of wisdom can you share?
Well, part of it is embracing the fact of what does it mean to offer this superfood experience to someone. Most people just take it way too seriously. I mean, way too seriously. You need to recognize that when you're offering someone the chance to invest in their health through superfoods, it's like offering them a stick of gum. Like if you're standing talking to someone and you immediately feel that your mouth is kind of dry and your breath might be a little stale, you'd reach into your backpack or your purse and you'd haul out a pack of gum. But you would never put that gum in your mouth, ever, without offering it first to the person in front of you. You always would. Now, if that person said, no, thank you, it might be because they don't like juicy fruit. It might be because they just had some coffee and the gum would taste really yucky with their coffee. It might be any of those reasons, but you wouldn't really care. You wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about it. If they wanted the gum, you gave them a piece of gum. If they didn't want the gum, oh well. You put it in your mouth and carry on with the day. You have to get to the place where you approaching people with this superfood option is like a stick of gum. Stop making such a big deal out of it. When they say no, it really means not now. So don't take it seriously, don't take it personally, and don't take it permanently. Embrace the fact you're going to have to circle back every 6 weeks, 4 to 6 times over 4 to 8 months before your average person will actually join. Don't think you're doing something wrong because you're talking to people multiple times. Some of our top income earners in Isagenix were spoken to over 100 times before they joined. Oh, well, they're making $1 million a year now. That worked out okay. Someone mustn't have taken it very seriously, permanently, or personally, and just circled back like it was a stick of gum. Who cares? I'll offer it one more time. During the summer months, yes, you may collect some not nows. Now, when someone says no, you need to learn how to turn that no into not now and ask for a referral. So when someone says no, we don't argue with them. We say, hey, I completely understand. You know, there have been times in my life when I could not do something new like this either. I understand the timing isn't perfect right now. But you know, I've got friends doing this with me all over the country. You might know someone out of our local area here who would love these products, even though the timing isn't great for you now. Because I would so appreciate a referral from someone like you. Now, when you do that, you take all of the sour out of the no, and you set that back up so you ended it with a compliment, so they're not screening your call the next time you call them. Now, if you've got a not now, you need to have a binder for your not nows. Give every person their own page where you write out the story of their enrollment. Name and contact information. How did we connect? What was their primary health goal? What have I shared with them so far? And then write down the date you last spoke to them. You simply want to talk to those people every 6 weeks. Everything can change in 6 weeks. So if you hear some no's, turn them into not nows and plan on circling back to them again before Labor Day weekend. Because Labor Day weekend, post-Labor Day weekend, is the last big sales spike of the year. And that's where people are more likely to want to get going because they've gone to way too many barbecues that summer. And they realize in taking their kids back to school, they're not in the shape they should be. But that won't happen if you stop talking to people right now because they're going to say not now. Who cares? It's a stick of gum. Offer it again. Circle back every 6 weeks. Does that make sense?
That does, and that's great advice because I know I was guilty of taking it personally in the beginning too. And sometimes someone will hear a no and they take it so personally they give up. And that's what we don't want to see happen because, you know, the yes may come after 10 no's, but if you keep working towards that yes, they do come. And a lot of times people take so long to make decisions. I had someone follow me for 3.5 years before they finally said yes. You know, that happens.
And that's why if you go to a professional's house, you'll see their not now book. I know if you go to Kevin and Pam's house, they live at the base of the Fernie Ski Hill in Fernie, BC, one of the top ski resorts in North America. If you go to Kevin's office, there's an ugly, ugly, ugly orange binder. I mean, it's so ugly, he must have stolen it from a police department back when he was a cop. Because only cops would buy binders this ugly. And it has every single person they've ever spoken to in the last 7 years. And Kevin knows if I have 10 conversations, I get 2 enrollments. So go downstairs and do my circle back calls. All I've got to do is have 10 conversations, I'll get 2 enrollments. Jay Bennett, he knows. Spend 2 or 3 hours calling my not nows. What'll that get you? 12 enrollments, which gives me 3 consultants every month. Rain or shine, summer, winter, doesn't matter. Just make your contacts, circle back. And that's why I say sales slumps in the summer have more to do with the fact that people aren't sharing as much as they should be, not that people aren't willing to get started.
Right. So I think sending those videos, that's a great piece of advice we can all do right away. Any other tips like that, things that they can implement right away?
Well, you know, one of the things that some teams do, if you have people around you locally who are also building, they'll do a boiler room where they'll get together for an hour and they'll all be in the same room making their calls all at the same time. And what happens is when they hear a no, You can't just sit there and, surf Facebook like most of us do. You got to get onto your next call because you got 3 or 4 other people in the room. Plus, if you need a 3-way call, you've got someone right there in the room to do the 3-way call with you. And I know a number of teams that are specifically doing boiler rooms, especially in the summertime. They can get all of their calls done in a single hour because they stay laser focused as in a group because they've pushed up the pressure in the boiler room.
That's another great idea. And we could even do that. We're very long distance. Our team is just all over the place. We could set up a Zoom meeting like this, muting ourselves, making our phone calls, and then checking back in so we can all watch each other. That would be pretty cool too.
Well, that way you can hold up a little note on Zoom and saying, need a 3-way call? Who's ready?
Yeah, I love that idea too. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Because we do have teams that do virtual boiler rooms, and they actually do them weekly. Every week they do a virtual boiler room. They get on, and for 5 minutes they share some of the people they're going to be talking to in the next hour. They jump on the phone, hit it hard for an hour, get back off, do a little debrief. They've done their calls.
That's great. Okay, anything else you want to share, PK, before we start opening it up for questions?
The big deal is finding your time. The 300 minutes will not fall in your lap. You need to have a week-at-a-glance calendar. You need to sit down and find your 5 hours before the week begins and then work the plan. Just because it's summer is no good reason for you to then say, oh, I can't live by a schedule. You can't put down your business for 2 months at a time and expect to still have a business. It just doesn't work that way. Just doesn't work. So in your calendar, find your time, find the plan, work the plan. And know that you need 5 hours a week. You've got to have 5 hours a week.
Yep, exactly. Well, we teach on organization all the time, and I definitely am a firm believer. If you don't plan it and you don't schedule time for it, it's just not going to happen, especially in the summer months. So easily distracted in the summertime.
Absolutely. And that's one of the challenges we have in owning your own business and you work from home is that, if you have a job, you don't show up, you get fired. But in this business, you don't show up. You can just say it's summertime, no one wants to enroll, even though you haven't shown up at all. But there is no immediate repercussions, so you think, oh, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is you're going to miss that big sales spike in September because you haven't kept your follow-ups hot. And it's because you've taken the summer off.
Right. Yeah, and I know sometimes when people go through personal trials and things, they put their business on the back burner and they come back to it and they're disheartened because people stop ordering products. Well, it's one of those things. If you're taking time off and time away from your business, even if you're not putting it out there publicly, people do know. They really do. So it's really important we stay plugged in.
Well, that's also why I like for people to find a pace they can keep, right? I'm not a big fan of sprints. Because, well, it used to be in Isagenix, 90 days before Isagenix, there'd be a 90-day blitz. I said, okay. And then right after celebration, there'd be another 90-day blitz after celebration. And then pre-New Year's kickoff, there'd be a 9-day blitz. And then post-New Year's kickoff, there'd be a 9-day blitz. And I'd go, you do realize that's the whole year, right?
Yeah.
3 90-day blitzes the whole year.
Wow.
And so even when you're doing quote unquote a blitz, you got to make sure that what you do, you can do every week. Why? Because you got to stay in activity. You got to stay in action. If you're constantly rushing and then stopping for a month, I've proven that if you give 5 hours a week to enrolling conversations, you will always be enrolling people eventually. Always. You will always have enrollments. It doesn't need to be 1 million hours. But that's 5 hours to enrolling conversations. That's not surfing Facebook. That's not reading other people's posts. It's 5 hours of enrolling conversations. Conversations are where your lips are moving.
Now, when you're saying enrolling conversations, can you be more specific for everyone that's tuning in? Are you talking telephone? Are you talking Facebook messaging, texting?
Well, you want to get to a conversation as much as you can. That has to be your goal. If you are trying to live off of texting, your enrolling numbers are going to be really low. And the comparison I make is, if you're sitting at your desk and you had a permanent sales job and your boss said, how's your day going? Oh, well, I did a couple power posts today. Okay, who did you talk to? I'm waiting for people to get back in touch with me. Oh, that's not what we do here. We instigate the contact. Are you sure? Because I did a couple really powerful Facebook posts. Cool, but you still need to instigate some contact here. You gotta create some contact. So it's all of your introductory points you get out there to start the conversation. It's all of your follow-up calls you need to make. And if you can, don't make them texts, have them conversations. You'll be much more effective even if you make your side of the text verbal rather than text. Someone asks me a question on Facebook, I'll hit the microphone button and just answer them. Why? Well, it's quicker for me to answer verbally. They also get to hear my voice, and that changes the conversation. So all of your introductions to get the conversation started, and then all of the follow-ups you need in order to get that person all the way to enrolling.
Okay.
And right now, for most people on the call, that's what they need to spend their time on.
Right, and that was one of my points. I have a lot of people that tell me, they share with me that they're more comfortable kind of hiding in that Facebook world and messaging people and texting people and things like that. So how can you recommend, or verbiage maybe you can share with us? So we're sending out these videos. I thought of you when I watched this video. If this is something you're interested in, let me know. How do we get them on the phone? Can you share maybe your verbiage around that so they can have some specific ideas on how to do this?
Well, if someone says, yeah, I'm interested in hearing more about this, I would just say, do you have a minute to chat about it? If you want, I can just hit the telephones button on the Facebook and we can talk over Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But we're wanting to talk. You don't want to just throw. Here's the challenge. In Isagenix, yes, our body is our billboard, but the product is actually you. When you hide behind text constantly, you're actually hiding the product away from the consumer. Please don't think that somehow you're handing these people off to Isagenix. In two levels. So the first level is the product experience. 60% of the equation that leads to a powerful product transformation is your associate's relationship with you. That solution isn't found in the box. So you have to be a part of their transformation if they're going to transform. And then the business. Isagenix doesn't show anybody how to do the business. Isagenix doesn't do three-way calls. Isagenix doesn't mentor. Why? They're a company. They don't claim to do any of those things. That's your part. If you remain this anonymous part of their life, there's very little chance they're going to succeed at either the product or the business. You've been thinking someone else is going to be doing the work that's actually yours to be done. You can't hide you from your associate, or your associate will fail. You're a part of the product.
Right. Awesome. Okay, a question came in, PK. What is the best way to invite people to your launch parties?
If you're having a party launch party, just tell them, hey, this is a fun taste testing we're having. It's not a long meeting. It's just a fun party. You'll meet some brand new people and some other people you know, and you'll be able to test drive some of these great superfoods. The key is that it's fun and experiential and it's taste testing. Not that it's a nutritional meeting, not that we're going to have to sit through an hour of talking. If you're going to have the party launch party, you've got to stress that. And don't trick them and they walk in and all of a sudden there's a whiteboard and a video going on. If you say it's a party, put on the music, hand out martini glasses, and have a good time.
Right. Is it a phone call? This is what I wanted to know, Cindy. A phone call? What is PK? Which way do you invite them?
The best way that I've ever seen a team do is a team out of New Hampshire. And they, for one, they gave options. They were doing the healthy happy hour, which is that cocktail party style launch party where there is no presentation. It's kind of a come and go open house. So they had two the same week, one on a Wednesday, one on a Saturday in different homes. but because some people can't make weeknights, they can only make weekends, and other people can't make weekends, they can only do weeknights. So they gave them options within the same week, and then they invited them 2 weeks before the first of the two parties. So they had 2 weeks advance notice for the party. Now what they did was they called 125 of their friends and told them, we're having this fun cocktail party about our superfoods. We've created a Facebook page we'd like your permission to put you on so you can hear more information about what we're going to do at the party. They ended up putting 125 people on this page, and then for 7 days leading up to the first of the two parties, they did a press release about a different product that people would be experiencing at the launch party. So they got 2 options for which party to go to that week. They got 2 weeks notice, and they got 7 reminders from the 7 posts on the Facebook page that they had gotten their permission to put them on. And in their case, they invited 125, 20 people came, and 9 people enrolled just from a cocktail party style launch party with no presentation.
That's great. That's what you wanted, Ann, right? Like, I know when I got started, I sent Facebook messages. I actually sent snail mail postcards. Do you still recommend anything by mail, PK?
Well, I wouldn't, because I don't read anything from mail, but that's just me.
Okay.
But I don't read email either. If you send something by email, I'm probably just deleting it. I've become very exclusive to social media. I don't remember the last time I opened an envelope.
Okay. I know I don't respond to Facebook events. I get invited to hundreds of events, strangers I don't even know, and I don't even look at them. So if you want to invite me to something, that's not the way to do it. You really need to make it more personal. And I think Facebook Messenger works, picking up the phone works, text messaging, all of that.
Well, these were all conversations. They called 125 people and asked their permission to put them on a Facebook page. So this isn't just an anonymous event you're getting off Facebook. No, this is a conversation they had with 125 people.
That's awesome.
And that's the other mistake from launch parties. People, one, make it so anonymous no one's coming, and they don't have enough authentic conversations with people. You know, they invite 5 and they wonder why only 1 came. Well, if you can get 20% of the people you invite to come, you're a genius.
Yeah.
What's the shortest duration? Like, I'm thinking of doing something Thursday, PK, and it's Sunday night. Is that crazy, or just?
Well, I would be on the phone tonight calling 100 people.
In between our 2 calls, we have another one at 9. You've got 1 hour, Ann.
You know, Ann, you know what you could do? You could do a little 1-minute video. Do a little 1-minute video about your launch party and send out a voice memo. Just take a second, Julie, and watch the video I've made. I've got a special party coming up. Message me back if you're interested. Send over the video. You could send that out to 100 people in an hour.
I'm going to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of the personal video. You really gotta get solid on doing personal videos. You gotta.
Yeah, great
and
idea.
Don't make them professional and don't make them perfect. Just make them guerrilla videos.
Real. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Lori Allen has raised her hand. So Lori, if you want to unmute yourself, you can ask PK a question.
I actually have 2 questions. One is, what do you taste at the party? And the other one is, what video for a short video during the presentation do you recommend?
At a party launch party, no video. At a party launch party, there's no videos because that kind of slows out the party. So we don't do any videos at party launch parties. If you're doing a typical launch party, we try to stay short, 3 to 6 minutes. So either an IsaBody champion video, finalist video. If you got people who are into sports, that new amped video is only 2 minutes and 45 seconds long, but nothing longer than 6 minutes, and even that's a little long. People don't have that much patience for that kind of stuff. They don't like long videos at parties. I've already lost your first question you asked, though. I asked the second one first. What was your first question? What do you taste? Make it very summery. You know, you've got summery kind of shakes. If you're going to do shakes, I would also do some doctoring of them. If you're going to do strawberry shakes, put some frozen strawberries in it. Make it like a nice, thick, frosty like you get at Wendy's, but these ones don't kill you. If you're going to do vanilla, try it with some orange replenish, so it's like a creamsicle. Do things that are kind of festive that way. But yeah, we try everything. If you take a bar and split it down the middle, then chop it up 6 ways, you get 12 little pieces out of one bar. Put little toothpicks in them so people can try the different kinds of bars. Bars, isolites. Doesn't hurt to do a pot of the coffee and just serve little demi-tasses of it. That's always a great thing. A great thing to get people to try is the little organic coffee tasters.
Awesome.
There's also a good little punch you can make of replenish, cleanse, and fruit. And so you can actually put that in martini glasses when people come in, and then you can tell them that they've already started cleansing because you put some in the punch.
That's great. All right, guys, we've got about a little less than 10 minutes left. Does anyone have any other questions you'd like to ask while we have PK with us? Unmute your line. If you need help, let me know. I did mute a few of you.
Cindy, it's Ann. If nobody else will go, I'll always go. You know me.
Please.
Okay, PK, here's another question. I have notebooks of notebooks of notebooks. So I'm going to start a new notebook. It's going to be my Not Now notebook. Do you just create a page, like it's not in alphabetical order? You're just throwing names in there as they come along? And
I'd prefer that you use a binder so you can move the pages.
Ah, smart.
And that way, but don't alphabetize it though. Just the people that you haven't spoken to in the longest amount of time are at the top. And your job is every 6 weeks to go through your pages and just move them top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
Fantastic. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah. You're not now list. I had one mentee. She'd never put it all together, and when she was done, she had 500 people to start calling back.
Yeah, I think people like refreshing your list. We don't do often enough. We start a list one time when we get started, and we keep going back to those same people over and over and over again. And I think people really need to understand you want to be adding to those lists. I mean, every time I'm meeting people, I'm adding people's names to my list, just like I'm adding Facebook friends.
Absolutely. And when you send out information to someone and they've shown a little bit of interest in it, they're in your Not Now list, you're going to come back to them in 6 weeks. Flip back through, flip back through, flip back through.
I love
the little touches that we do along the way matter. For instance, I mean, YouTube is a multi-billion-dollar company today. And you can skip their advertisements in 5 seconds. How does that possibly work? Well, it must work because they're a multiple billion-dollar company. So don't feel that unless I, get to have an hour-long sit-down with someone, it's not an effective contact. Isagenix gives you something new every 6 weeks to share with your people. You could have reached out when the pina colada shake came out. Then the non-dairy shake came out. There's going to be a new flavor coming out in the next 6 weeks as well. All fresh stuff to throw back out in front of people. I really like 15 to 30-second videos that you make. Hold up a non-dairy shake and say, hey, if any of you guys are really looking for great health, but dairy's not an option, we've got the option for you. Message me back if you're interested. 15 seconds. You can blast it out to your list in an hour.
Great.
Simple.
I can keep going, so I have one more question, but I want to make sure.
No, please, if no one else is asking, I want to definitely
go right ahead.
Get everyone's questions answered.
I love the boiler room thing. That excites me. But here's my overthinking, PK. I'm in the boiler room. It's hot in here. I'm just reaching out to who? Anybody that I've talked to, circling back. I mean, is it a certain group that you're trying to connect with?
It could be either. You could do a boiler room where everyone's working their Not Now list. You could do a boiler room where everyone's just sending out voice memos with videos to people. You could do a boiler room just to say, guys, we're going to get our stuff out in front of 50 new people this hour. So bring your list of people on Facebook we're going to do it to. We'll choose a video. We're going to send it out there, and we're going to blast it out to 50 each.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something for that. I think that's something we can do as a team that would be very effective.
I love it. Thank you so much, PK. This has been awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And it works, guys. It really works. You got to stop overcomplicating it.
Yeah, we tend to do that. Anybody
Just
else?
that one phrase, when I saw this, I thought of you. You've got to get that phrase inked into your head. When I saw this, I thought of you.
Okay, Cindy, I guess I have a question.
Yes.
I know that I am not the only one, but I'm scared to death to do videos. I have not done one yet. So any advice to, I know he's saying, you know, MK, you're saying to keep it really simple and just say it, but any advice you can give on actually doing your first video or something of that nature?
Shorter is better. Shorter is better. You're looking for 15 seconds. Shorter is better. Anything over 30 seconds, you better be really good because no one's watching long videos anymore. So 15 to 30 seconds, and it can be about anything, you know. Super excited to be trying the new non-dairy shakes. If anyone would like to hear more about great nutrition, but dairy's not an option, we've got an answer for you. Boom, you're done.
Yvonne, I want to say something. It's Ann. I want you to look at that camera and think of somebody that you love. Someone like, it could be, I don't know, just someone you care about that you know loves you, and envision them in front of you, and that's who you're speaking to. So just picture someone that you love. That'll help you.
It's really funny to me because I have absolutely no problem talking to a group, like in front of a group, but for me to do a video, it's really hard. So I've tried a couple times and just can't do it, but I'll try that, Ann. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one thing with videos and anything that we feel that way about, sometimes people are just definitely afraid to pick up the phone and actually get on the phone and talk to people. If we change our mindset and we really think about the other person and not so much us, it gets easier. If we're not so focused on how we're going to look or sound on the video, or our fear of the phone, or our fear of the video, when we really focus on the person we're trying to help, it really can help you and make a difference for you. Yeah. All right, guys, one last question. Anyone else have a question for PK? Now's your time.
This is Dawn. I had a question.
Awesome.
How's the best way to get the phone numbers? I have a ton of people that I'm associated with on Facebook, but I have no idea what their phone number is because we're not that close.
I would start talking to them using the Facebook Messenger app first.
Okay.
Have you ever just said, hey, can we chat about this? We're chatting back and forth. Can we chat? If I press the little telephone button, can we just talk for a second? And just talk to them that way first.
Okay, great.
Yeah. There's so many ways to get in front of people that are so much simpler today than there ever were. I mean, we have so many advantages, and we just don't take advantage of them.
Yeah. And usually when I get to the point where I'm ready to take it offline and get on the phone, I just ask them for their phone number, you know.
Yep.
Or I'll give them mine and say, you can call me, and, you know, is now a good time? You can call me, or give me your number, I'll call you, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Always making it about them. I'll answer any questions you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Remember, in all of our conversations, we're wanting to get to that magic question. Imagine nutrition could transform anything about your health. What would you choose to transform first? Our nutritional options have so many ways to change people's lives. You want to become the expert at finding out what's their priority, and then become the expert of helping them reach their goals. If that's what you do, you'll always be successful.
Right. Awesome. Well, anything else? Any parting words of wisdom for us, PK? We just so appreciate your time tonight.
The key is keep it moving. Don't let days or weeks go by without making an investment in your health. If you don't know what to do, make another introduction. If you say, I don't have anyone to reach out back to, then reach out to some people brand new. But make sure not a week goes by that you're making a positive move in some way, whether it's introduction or follow-up in your business. Don't let weeks go by, even in the summer months. Don't let weeks go by, and you'll always, always, always be enrolling someone.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. PK, you're amazing. We just all love you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
See you soon, folks.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night, everybody.
Fantastic. Thank